everybody, this is Christina at scrapcraftnstitchery. This is day 7 of the 2025 July Junk Journal Challenge. Let's see what the theme is for today. We'll flip this open. The 7th day, this is July 9th, is Stamp It. I have an obscene amount of stamps. So my plan for this is simply to layer and layer and layer and layer stamp over stamp and maybe add some other elements. Maybe I'll do a belly band because I haven't done a belly band in this journal yet. I have done pockets and tags, obviously, and so maybe we'll make a belly band out of stamps. We'll pick some fun colors. I don't really have a plan except for I'm just going to play with stamps for this and see how many of my stamps I can actually pull out and use. Maybe focusing on ones that I really love or ones that I've maybe never used before. Let's have some fun. Thanks for joining. I can't wait to see what we make. So this is the stamp set that I decided to work with, and I've never used this before. I've had it forever and I've just never used it. So I thought it'd be fun to play with this set. I thought it was very pretty. I am going to make a background, and I got this black gesso, and I got it at Craft Supply Co-op, and came to me half used, and I just wanted to try it out. I'd always wanted some, and I finally got some, and I was super excited about it. So I decided to play with my supplies. My new to me supplies. So I'm ready to get started embossing this black paper that I've made, and love how the gesso came out. And I try this out first off using a Versamark and the salvaged patina Tim Holtz Distress embossing powder, and this was a good try. It did not give me the result that I wanted. You'll see here in a minute. I stamped the Versamark on and put the Distress embossing powder on, but when I melt it, and I'm not going to show you me melting it with the heat gat tool here, it just, there it is. It looks great, but the Distress embossing powder is just too transparent. It doesn't, the pigment kind of fades into the background. It's very, very lightly transparent. So on a lighter color, if I had done this on white, it probably would have given me a light, faint blue color, but I wanted a really blue color to stand up out against this black. So I grabbed the Distress Oxide. I kind of thought that had happened. I had watched a Tim Holtz video a long time ago. So anyway, I'm just playing around, and I'm still going to have plenty of paper to fill in and get this to work the way I want. So I try it again. And there I really got, well, here I am just kind of removing some of this excess Distress, the excess embossing powder. And now you can see as it starts to melt, it's really staying this beautiful blue. It changes a lot. It's really interesting how much it actually changes. This is what I was looking for. I wanted a blue to stand out against the black because I thought that was very striking. So now I'm just going to continue to fill in this entire page. So, this is what I was after. I wanted to have this beautiful sheet of embossed stamped images for this to use as a background. So now I am cutting this up. I'm going to use this as a background on my page, and then I also cut a belly band. So I'm putting that together. I found this, dug through my stash and found a paper that really closely matched the salvage patina color of the Tim Holtz embossing powder. And now I'm just inking around the edges of my background. This page really winds up, first of all, it becomes this very monochrome color. I could have done this for one color, and I guess I wanted to do something easier than I did for the one color prompt. So now I go and I'm going to take that same paper and I'm just going to stamp on black some more of the images from this set, and this is a beautiful rose color. I stamped a whole bunch of images. I don't stamp a lot, but when I do stamp, I stamp a lot. So I'll use some of these, and what I don't use, I'm putting in my stash to use for later. I think that I love the way these roses look on this blue. I am pulling out this black mulberry paper. I really kind of almost exactly repeated the page that I did for one color yesterday for this. I just picked a different color and a different way of going about this. So I pulled out the black mulberry paper that I'd used with my one color spread since it was fresh in my mind. And this is straight up like I used to go to Stampin' Up! Parties, and this page feels very much like a card you would make at a Stampin' Up! Party. I used a lot of the techniques that they use. So I have this beautiful, this mulberry paper is so thick. Oh my gosh. So now I'm ready to kind of put my background papers into my journal, and I'm just going to tear this in half. I ink along the edge to kind of break that white line so it's not noticeable. And then I wanted to layer this with also some vellum. And then I ink the edges of this focal. This will be my focal point for the page. And I found some brads that really match this page. They're kind of a deep teal blue, very pretty. So I'm using those to attach this. Another way I could have maybe done this was attach these to the background and then glued that into my book. That is not what I did, so I wound up gluing all of that here in a minute to the page. With the belly band, I had a hard time getting it to attach to that super glossy surface with the glue, so I will attach that with the brads, and I have to attach it like through the background into the back pages, which I'm going to have to deal with when I get to the other side of my accordion fold later, but I'm not worried about that. That'll be a problem for another day. It'll be easy to solve. We'll just cover them up. I used the sentiment from this set. I went back and forth there's a couple of sentiments in this, but I landed on, with love and patience, nothing is impossible. So now I'm just attaching this. Like I said, it wasn't gluing down very well, so I just poked it through all the way through. And there you can see the brads come out on the other side, but we'll cover those up later. And this, I just put a lot of glue and it seems to be sticking. That worked with the vellum on the slick embossing. It stuck down like it was meant to be. So now I'm just placing some of those images to make a little bouquet of flowers. And now I am going to make a journaling card to put in the belly band. I really love the way this came out. It's really simple and not very complex. The rest of the page was a lot of stamping technique, but this was pretty easy. I did make sure whenever I was stamping to put down some kind of a paper pad. Gives it a little more give so that my stamped images came out a little more full, especially on these like really big stamps. So now I do a little bit of journaling, but first I'm going to do a little more stamping. This page really turned out to be all about stamping and having fun with stamps. As I was doing this, I was kind of thinking if you don't have stamps and inks, you could still do this if you just have a little bit of paper. You could use acrylic inks and find some textured household items like bubble wrap or any of those things, maybe like a sponge that has an interesting texture, and you could certainly, substitute that for rubber stamping. Here I do a little bit of journaling on the back of this card using this same style that I've been using throughout my book. And I was writing about how I'm still learning, and one of the things that I'm personally learning right now is that done is sometimes better than perfect, and there's very much an art to figuring out when something is good enough and you're ready to move on. I really liked how this journaling card came out with the journaling and how it looks and the stamping that I did on it. I just really like it a lot. So that pretty much finishes up this page. I am having a great time working on this project and this collaboration and seeing what everybody else is doing for the July Junk Journal Challenge 2025. I am adding a tab right now to this page. I write the prompt on it and what day it was of the challenge. This is day 7, and that is that. That's my page. I will check this one off as done. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and share, and follow the hashtag JJJC2025 for more videos.